Do you want to learn how to use and 3-star with the Pekka Smash attack strategy here at Town Hall 11? Well, this guy is going to teach you everything from base identification to how you guys can use your double jump and the back end stone slammer. With that being said, let's jump straight into the guide. So you want to learn how to use the Pekka Smash attack strategy here at Town Hall 11. Well, this guide has 100% got you covered. Now, there are a few things that we really need to talk about with this attack. For one, you can be very flexible in terms of the army composition. You can bring 5 Pekkas, you can bring 3 Pekkas, you can bring 4 Pekkas. Again, it really doesn't matter in terms of that. And again, you can bring 10 bowlers, 9 bowlers, maybe 11 bowlers. But again, it's going to determine based on the number of healers that you're bringing. Never bring less than 3, or I'm sorry, less than 4. And then, you may want to have cleanup troops or troops that can get some extra pieces of percentage. So again, that's really up to you. But again, very flexible in terms of army composition. So in terms of the base design, how do we know that this base or, what is this strategy going to be strong against? Well, you really want to try and make sure to find the open areas of a base. And even if it's more compact, the bowlers still do a very, very good job, especially since they will be able to basically bowler bounce onto those. Now on this base design, it's a little bit more spread out. So one good area to take note of is this area right here. The main reason to why we want to keep this area in mind is because there's this little dip right here, we now have access to jump the eagle compartment. This is huge. This now allows us to jump into the eagle compartment, get rid of the eagle fairly quickly, and then also jump over that into the next compartment, which gives us access to both multi-infernos. So what's really important there is we gotta really make sure that we lead our bowlers and our Pekkas into that area. Now, why do we want to take out the eagle first? Specifically, we want to try and protect our bowlers as much as possible, including our queen. We want to make sure that we take that out because that is definitely a key building to take out. Yet it isn't always a big key objective to take out. But other times you really want to try and get rid of it. So exactly on this base, what do we need to do? Well, we need to set the funnel on both sides of the base. This will then allow us to use a queen walk to enter into our entry point. Then all we have to do is just send in the bowlers and Pekkas going here. Now, because there's 5 Pekkas being used, we can use some right here to set the funnel for the king in terms of going this direction. And then we could also use one right here to set the funnel here. That then allows us to use our queen walk and then break into the base with the Pekkas, bowlers, and Grand Warden. Now, what about the back end stone slammer? Now, in the stone slammer, you can bring a variety of different things. You can bring loons, you can bring Valkyries, or you can bring another Pekka and Valkyries. Again, that's really up to you. In terms of this example, I would highly recommend just using loons. But if you feel like, you need to bring another Pekka in there or something like that, then go for it. Bring another Pekka, bring more Valkyries, or even bring loons. So just remember, if you're going to bring loons, do use a haste rather than a poison. That's going to really help you a lot. Now, in terms of this, we can kind of see and now kind of focus in on exactly, how we can actually do this strategy a little bit more effectively. So as we kind of go through the replay here, I'm just going to give you guys some really quick tips as we start to move through. So it's definitely a good way of getting to know this attack. Now, when should you only use 4 healers? Well, 4 healers will give your queen 100% healing. This now allows you to sort of, not worry about a 5th healer being in there. You can bring one if you want. However, bringing in that 5th healer could take up some camp space. So you got to really make sure that you think about it. Again, remember, you want to try and make sure to set the funnel. The funnel has been made on both sides. The Pekkas and the kings are doing very well. And now you have enough Pekkas going in. You have about 3 Pekkas going in along with the bowlers. And then you also have the queen going in with the rest of the kill squad. And you can kind of see here is that the rage and the jump gets into that eagle compartment. And again, you want to try and protect the bowlers as much as possible. So usually an area of good, good value in terms of the Grand Warden's ability would be around here, where those bowlers are inside the Grand Warden's Grand Warden's, radius. So you really want to try and make sure to really pop that Grand Warden's ability whenever to protect the bowlers and the Pekkas. Now, make sure that you do use the heal and rage correctly. You can rage up the queen in terms of the queen walk, but you can also rage up the Pekkas and bowlers as they move in, and then a little bit later on, where you can rage up the Pekkas and or bowlers in the core of the base. So that's really up to you. Now, in terms of the back end Stone Slammer, you want to try and use it on the back end to get some more pieces of value, specifically getting rid of some defenses. So let's say that there were still defenses in this area right here. You would send the Stone Slammer in to go through and actually take out those defenses before popping. If you had loons in there, then specifically what you would do is you would use your haste spell to haste up the loons to get to those defenses as quick as possible. That's the idea typically on attacks like this, so really keep that in mind. And then again, just remember that, this attack strategy, you don't need to attack near the town hall. That is what's really, really nice about this one. So it really gives you guys a really good understanding of exactly how you guys can use this attack strategy just that tad bit more effectively. So now let's go ahead and take a look at another example with this attack. So on this base design here, there are a few things. Well, one, it is a symmetrical base design. So no matter if we hit from this side or even here or here, it doesn't really matter because it's symmetrical. So where is the best possible entry point? Well, it's actually going to be towards down here. Why? The eagle is fairly easy to get to from either going in from here or right here. Now, one of the things to really keep in mind is this style of compartment. Now, you guys may have seen this before at Town Hall 9. Now, again, this was used around the Town Hall 9, age area where a lot of people were, wondering how to defend against certain attacks. Well, in order to defend against the double jump, a lot of people were doing it this way. So that is what that is. If you sometimes see this, just know that it is very difficult to jump through a compartment like that. However, notice how on this side of the base, though, how compact all of these defenses are compared to over here where they're mostly spread out. This allows our bowlers to actually get more value than you actually think. The bowlers there should be able to get a lot of value, especially since all those buildings are really close together. The bowler bounce is going to basically become real right there. Just all in this area here, it's very open, allowing for a jump to be possible and a second jump to be used to get into the core. So the idea is to walk the queen, jump into here, allow them to get the Eagle Artillery, and then jump here as well to have access to both multi-infernos and also getting the rest of the base down. So now that we've kind of told you exactly, all right, this area is going to be cleared out. So then we can send in the back end loons. Now, what about using a haste? You can see that the attacker's not bringing in a haste. Well, you don't always have to bring in a haste spell. Depending on the number of defenses left and if there is an air defense still left, then if there is, bring a haste. If not, you don't have to. But again, it's really up to you and your personal preference when you guys are doing the Pekka Smash. Sometimes you may want to use a haste. Other times you may want to use a poison to deal with the CC, whether it be a Lava Loon CC or a damage CC like a Baby Dragon, Witch CC, or even an Electro Dragon CC. Again, especially against Electro Dragon, you may want to bring a poison spell. Again, that's really up to you. But again, remember, you really want to do this with the Stone Slammer. No wall wrecker is required here. The Stone Slammer is specifically used in order to take out defenses and then also drop in the balloons as support. Just remember that you want to try and make sure to set the funnel for your Queen Walk and as well as the Pekkas and bowlers moving in, so that then you can get a lot of value from the rage spells, the heal spells, and the jump spells. If we see from this example, there is a damage CC, so this gives you guys a good example of how to deal with a damage CC. And if we kind of look, again, notice the Rage and the Bowlers along with the P.E.K.K.A.s moving through, and there's a good example of the Grand Warden's ability. The Grand Warden's ability being used over the Bowlers and also over the P.E.K.K.A.s in order to keep them all alive. And what's really important there is you saw that the Bowlers got a lot of value from their Bowler bounce. That is the idea. Now, if we take a look at it, there was an Ice Golem within the Stone Slimer. And again, you can choose to bring that if you choose to. But again, you're not required to bring all Loons, all Valkyries, just like a P.E.K.K.A. and a Loon in there. You can bring an Ice Golem. The Ice Golem is not a bad unit in terms of, this attack. But again, I would recommend bringing in Loons, especially if it's your first time using the attack. Then it's definitely 100% a better option to use Loons, bring in those Loons in order to take out those back-end defenses. So that's 100% a good option there, but you don't always have to do it. So now let's go ahead and take a look at one final example. Now, on this base design here, this base is 100% much more compact compared to the other ones I showcased. Now, another thing is you can see that the spell composition is a little bit different. No heal. Now, again, you can bring heal if you want. However, it's not mandatory. So if we take a look at this base design, the only really big compartments here are going to be right here and right here, both multi-inferno compartments. So what do we do here? What do we do now? Well, specifically, again, we want to try and set the funnel. We then want to actually use wall breakers here. We are bringing a double jump, but we can actually take advantage of where the multi-inferno compartment is and also where, the wizard tower is. Because they can't reach towards that outside, especially the multi-inferno, we can use a test wall breaker and then send the wall breakers in to break open that wall, so that then once a funnel has been cleared here and here, we can then send everything going into here. Then we can use a jump around in this area here. This already gives us access to the multi-inferno, but we now have access to the eagle, and then we could just hop over the eagle compartment and basically get through the rest of the base, and then also have our Stone Slimer going along with everything and just working their way this way. So specifically with the back-end Stone Slimer, you kind of want to go with the with the P.E.K.K.A.s and the Bowlers, but going in a direction where they aren't really going to be moving to at the end. Since a lot of them would be moving this way, then basically having the Stone Slimer going in around here is a lot better instead of having it go in with it. So that's really something to keep in mind when you guys are doing this attack. So making sure that you are able to deal with the funnel. Usually you're going to be using the king on one side and then also using a baby dragon or something like that, something very similar on the other, in order to set the funnel. And that is what's really important here. With this attack strategy, you really want to try and make sure that you can set that funnel. But then next what you want to do is just then drop in your wall breakers to break open the wall. As long as you know that the multi-inferno cannot hit over there, like you can see here, taking advantage of the multi-inferno range is really, really important. So then as you're moving into the base, using the jump in order to get into the first layer, which gives us access to the eagle already, and then jumping over the eagle compartment means that we're now moving this way and instead of moving in another direction. Now you can also see that the bowler bounce was hugely critical here in a base like this, since, well, the bowlers get a ton of value and they're just smashing buildings left and right. Since a lot of these are just one tile apart, the bowler bounce gets so much value. This really leaves that Stone Slimer just to go around the base and reach the back end. So that's the idea of the Stone Slimer here in this case. What you really want to try and make sure that you do is don't try to make it go into another area that hasn't been covered. Make sure that it tries to move in with it so that then it has some sort of support, but then also goes and moves on to the next defenses that are way on the back end, which the entire attack isn't going towards. So that's what's really important. But again, you also want to bring in haste, especially if you know that if there's no more air defenses. If there is still an air defense, I would highly recommend bringing it. And then if you decide to bring a freeze, feel free. But again, I would usually bring poison and also haste in order to really get through different base designs like that. But that's going to do it, guys, for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, why not leave a like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you guys don't miss any of my guides. And if you guys want to go ahead and join the Exit Humanity family, only the Brave family, the PlayMakers family, or the Elite Academy family, I'm going to leave a link down in the description for all of those Discord servers in the description below. And feel free to follow me on Twitter at CorruptYT. I will leave a link down in the description for my Twitter as well. And feel free to join my community Discord server. I will also leave a link to my Discord server in the description. With that being said, that's going to do it, guys, for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Corrupt, signing out.